Hello. Hola. Hola, mis amores. Welcome to today's video. I want to talk today about what healing really feels like. I I think we have this idea of healing. Like I remember when I began my process of healing and just thinking, oh, it's going to be, all this peaceful all the time. I'm not really going to struggle. It's going to be great. Like I'm going to quickly let go of these things that don't serve me and it's going to work out amazing. And that wasn't exactly how it worked out. I don't think that I had a clear idea. I actually can say I did not have a clear idea of what it meant to experience healing. And as a result of that, I struggle a lot in my journey because things that were a part of healing, I didn't think were supposed to be there, even though nobody told me that. So I will often resist my own healing because I didn't know how much pain was associated with actually healing. So today I wanted to share with you some of my thoughts, some of my reflections on what healing has been like and really what that process feels like in real time. So the first thing I'll share is that healing is a very painful process. It is a very painful process because you are taking time to look at the things about yourself that you purposely have stuffed in some box, in some closet, in somebody's house that you have no desire to look at. When you begin healing, you are going through all things that and all emotions that you may not even know you had because it's been so long since you actually faced those feelings, since you faced those emotions. And when you begin to look at how much pain you've been storing, it's like going to a emotional wound storage closet or storage unit. And you start taking things out and you're like, this was in here, this was in here, man, this still in here. How long has this been in here? There are some things that have been sitting for so long, collecting pain and collecting suffering, that it's going to take a long time to sort through it all and to forgive yourself for it. And that is really painful. It's really painful to look at your situation. And then you add in wanting results quickly, wanting progress to happen fast. And that adds a whole nother layer of pain because then you feel like I'm not healing fast enough, which is the thing that the ego likes to tell you. The ego likes to tell you that you're not doing this fast enough. The ego likes to berate you for these things. The ego is that voice that tells you who you're supposed to be, is the voice of your parents, society, family, friends that knows how you're supposed to live your life. And it can be a really painful process. The other thing about healing is that you got to grieve. A huge part of healing is grieving. Is grieving the parts of yourself that you had attached to for so long because they gave you identity. Who am I when I'm not the person that's suffering because she was abandoned? Who am I when I'm not the person that, is sick because somebody didn't take care of her? Who am I when I am not the person that never gets a chance because she's a woman of color, she's Afro Latina or whatever? Who am I when I'm not attaching myself to those things as part of my identity? A lot of us stick with that because it's familiar. And if something is familiar to your brain, it doesn't matter whether or not it serves you, it's going to stick to it because it's familiar. And I've learned in my process that the familiarity with things, with pain and suffering, would keep you in that situation because it doesn't want to heal. You don't want to let go of that stuff because if you let go of it, then what the fuck? Who are you without those things? And you begin to panic because you only know what you know up to now. And you have this fear of the unknown. You have this fear of taking action. You have this fear of change. And when you're facing those things at the same time, it can be really difficult. So, part of your process of healing is grieving all these things that you have purposely held on to out of fear of letting go, out of fear of not knowing who you are anymore, out of fear of losing your identity, out of fear of not knowing what's on the other side. So, grief is the main component of healing. The other thing I've learned about healing is that it takes time. And I know that this sounds like, obviously Nori takes time, but I don't think I understood the depth of how much time it takes. I don't think I understood that to forgive myself meant what he actually meant. That he meant to say, I'm not going to worry about this anymore. I'm going to release this in the past. I'm not going to continue reliving this experience. I'm not going to use my memory to torture myself over something that happened ages ago. Or I'm not going to use the memory to torture other people over things that they did ages ago. And that's really difficult because when we are hurting, we want other people to hurt too. We want other people to suffer because we are suffering. And all that does is feed the suffering even more. And a huge part of this is knowing that it's going to take time for you to deprogram yourself out of the things that have gotten you to where you are in this place. And when that stuff happens, you can experience joy. You can experience joy, the joy that comes from knowing that things generally don't impact you like that. Things generally don't have that power over you, over your emotions, over your actions, over your reactions. Joy from knowing that no matter what happens in your life, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And you don't have to worry about the future. You don't have to obsess about the past because you are fully present in your life, fully grateful for what you have without thinking that you need more, that something is missing for you to actually begin living. When you begin healing and you go through the pain, you go through the suffering, you go through the grief, you'll get the glimpses of this feeling, of the feeling that you're just not here to exist, but that you can live. And it's worth it. It was worth it for me. It's worth it for the women that I work with, but it's not an easy feat. It does take a lot from you. And a lot of us don't want to heal because the work that it requires to heal is intense. And it's why we shouldn't go at it alone. We should be with someone doing that because it's a lot and it takes a lot from us. So it's important that if you're starting this work or you're feeling discouraged about it, that you realize that you're not alone, number one. And number two, that you got to give yourself some grace. And the more you give yourself grace, give other people grace because you're practicing it and you're training yourself. You are relearning who you are. And a part of that is treating other people exactly how you want to treat yourself. The practice comes at every chance you get. And healing is a portal into a peace, into a kindness, into a compassion, into love that I had never experienced before. I thought I knew those things, but the more I heal, the more I grieve, the more I release the pain, the more I realize that what I thought I knew was only on the surface. And healing will do that to you. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about what that process feels like in real time, because sometimes it doesn't feel good at all. A lot of times it doesn't feel good at all. But if you stick to it, because in the end, you know you won't feel that pain, then it's going to be worth it. And it will take time. It will take work, but you can do it. You can keep going. Take a break if you need to, but keep pushing and watch how your life transforms. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Hasta luego.